Hello everyone, this is Ask Joshi, and in this video I'm going to go over some of the most requested UI feature changes or additions that I've seen throughout the Diablo 4 open beta so far. By far the most requested feature addition is an overlay map, which already exists in many ARPGs, and many users are wondering why they chose not to add it for the Diablo 4 open beta. The second most requested feature that I've seen is the ability to zoom out your camera further. I have a feeling this has to do with hardware limitations, and some people might not actually want to be able to zoom out their camera further because their computers will melt, but if you give them the option, they can find out for themselves. In that same vein, some people are requesting the ability to scale their UI elements up or down to be bigger or smaller, mostly smaller, and some people have also asked for a toggle to hide the actual hotkeys on the UI along the bottom because they take up too much space. Before we move on, I want to remind you that I am giving away 2 Ultimate Editions of Diablo 4, one to a lucky YouTube subscriber and one to a lucky Twitter follower, so make sure to enter before it's too late. If you're seeing this video and it is too late, don't fear, I will be giving away more around the launch of the game in June. Many players are requesting the ability to inspect items while they are still on the ground, either using a hover tooltip or Alt or Control. You could also have a loot filter where you just never see gray or blue items or whatever items you choose to filter out. Currently in the options, you can separate attack and interact from move to be just move, but people would really prefer to have an option that is move plus interact and only leave out attack, so that addition would be welcome. Some quest journal improvements have been requested, including just having it on a hotkey rather than having to go through menus to open the quest journal. I also think that we should be able to share blue quests. Those are side quests that you pick up around the world. You could still throw an error message if they are not the proper level or in the proper step of the quest, but grouping with other players and not knowing who's on what is really kind of frustrating. I also think a nice quality of life addition would be if you interact with a quest item like Ice Clan Bones or Bandit Blood, that a progress bar should show up either as a secondary tracked quest or just somewhere on the map so that you don't feel like you're just picking up things forever or you're wondering why you're picking these things up if you're unfamiliar with the quest. A lot of people are requesting the ability to bind more skills to the action bar or expand the action bar or add an ultimate only hotkey, and I think that fundamentally changes the game way too much to actually implement, because you'd be going from 6 skills to 7 usable skills. That dilutes the very limited amount of points that you're actually able to spend. It might actually make your build weaker, or it could go the other way and just make some ridiculous synergies that are not possible when you only have 6 skills available compared to 7. So I think fundamentally that would break the game too much, and I think 6 is totally fine because that is what they designed it to be. The next feature centers around gems that are picked up. Crude gems are scattered throughout the open beta, but they fill up your bag so quickly after a single dungeon. You could pick up 7 different gems that you may never even use and are likely to just be combined later. I personally think there is room for these in the consumables tab, even if the name is not quite right. I also think that we could have a gem bag with 20 slots or 30 slots, similar to an expandable Horadric cube from past games with extra inventory space. Right now, gems just feel bad picking up 7 different ones and cluttering your bag where you're already picking up tons of equipment to either salvage or sell every dungeon. It's just too much in the equipment bag. We need another solution. This next request is already featured in many games, including World of Warcraft's talent trees. For our skill trees in Diablo 4, I would love to just be able to save one loadout. More the merrier, but even one loadout saved would allow me to quickly refund abilities, select a single target boss loadout. For example, on Rogue, I was very fond of Barrage for clearing dungeons, but it was very difficult to kill single target bosses, so I would love to be able to switch to a rapid fire build quickly, spend the gold, but don't waste my time actually filling in every single point just to switch to a boss that I'm going to switch back after. Currently, the character statistics page is kind of buried and a little unwieldy, and it actually displays some of these stats in multiple places, even right next to it, like your core stats, your potion charges, your life, etc. These are all displayed right there already. I would love to prioritize things that I'm checking my stats for, which are almost always armor, damage, resistances, attack speed, and crit. Everything else can go below those stats in my opinion. Some people may have a different opinion there, but currently you just have to scroll way too much, and it's showing some information more than once. It's unnecessary. Players have requested the ability to lock items in your equipment bag so that you do not accidentally salvage all or spam sell them. The most common thing you would want to lock are these one-handed weapons, offhand sources, and shields. In case you're using a two-hander currently, you want to keep something on hand in case you find a better matching counterpart than your two-hander. Currently, the world boss, Ashava, only has a 30-minute timer before it begins. Some people are requesting a sort of full schedule or calendar for when these bosses actually spawn. Currently, the Diablo Twitter has been giving the times for open beta, but I have a feeling this will be less of a problem when there are more world bosses popping up left and right. And on the topic of the world boss Ashava, I think that there are two quality of life changes I would like to see. One is actually able to see the cap of the number of people that are in your instance. This is important for things like using a town portal during the fight to go repair and trying to return. Someone can actually fill your spot and you'll get a different instance. So if you're killing a boss down to like 30% and you back to town and come back and now the boss is at 80%, it's a little jarring and not expected behavior. Also, if you're trying to invite more than just a group of 4 people, say your clan has like 8 people online and you want to get everyone in the same Ashava instance, it would be nice to know if it's going to be capped out while you're inviting everyone. And at the end of each world boss, or even strongholds as well, I think a damage report would be really cool and useful for players looking to improve. They can see which of their skills contributed the most damage. They can see which ones are lackluster against bosses, because some abilities do behave differently against bosses than they do normal mobs and elites. It would be really nice to see what is the most effective and what sort of things you should prioritize. I think even a personal damage report where it only shows your own stuff or your full party would be fine. You don't have to show the entire raid or stronghold or whatever. There's a small inconsistency with healing wells. They will restore your max health and max potions and max resource. Unless you're already at max health and potions, then it ignores your resource. I would prefer if it just filled your resource, especially on barbarians who have to build a lot of their resource from scratch. And now we're down to just some cosmetic changes. Some players have requested that white hair in the character creation is actually white. Right now it's kind of a gray beige and could definitely be whiter. Another is to toggle to disable or enable necromancer minions in town. Some players don't like being surrounded by 20 skeletons when they're just trying to do their shopping and would like to just make them go away and return once they go back into a battlefield. The last one here is inconsistency on pets. We noticed that the Sorceress Hydra, for example, shows the number of charges, even if you only have one, on the ability itself. But a druid with 2 wolf pets, if a wolf dies, you have no idea. It could just display 2 on the button like it does for the Sorc Hydras. And finally, the Necromancer pets are all the way on the far right. So some consistency, maybe put all of them on the far right or all of them on the button, but not knowing where that information is between different characters is just kind of weird. To wrap this up, there are clearly a lot of things that players are requesting that are just quality of life, time savers, graphical clarity, hotkey things, and the developers of Diablo 4 have a lot of things to consider before launch. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you have any other UI improvements, please do leave a comment. Maybe I'll make another video in the future. If you enjoyed this video, I hope that you will consider subscribing, as I do plan to make Diablo 4 the main focus of this channel moving forward. Please do check out the 10 quick tips video if you haven't already. You may be missing some UI things already and not even know it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.